from a cleaner at the synagogue who has fallen asleep watching the TV. When they eventually get it, Angelica runs off with it because she only wanted it so that she could watch her Cynthia show. I'm not sure whether this Cynthia show was like a live action movie or an animated movie. I'm guessing it would be an animated one. But anyway, she runs off with it so she can watch her Cynthia show. She then bumps into Slow-Mo and the TV breaks and she starts crying. He asks her what's wrong and she says that she wants her Cynthia. So he says, "Oh, that's what you want. You want to watch the tube." And Angelica nods. The babies then go up to Slow-Mo, holding the book that Grandpa Boris was reading to them. And Boris explains to Slow-Mo that the babies want him to read them a story, and he says, "You're the grandfather, you read it." And Boris says, "No, they want you to read it." So he begins to tell them the story of Hanukkah. In the story, the heroes go to an abandoned temple where people used to worship their god or, celebrate, do their celebrations or whatever. Phil then says, "Wow, Lillian, this is worse than our room," meaning that the place is messy. And Lil says, "No, Philip, it's not. You can still see the floor." The heroes then see the menorah, but say there's only enough candle wax to light the candles for one day, but they decide to light them anyway. They light the candles and the candles end up being lit for the amount of days that they need to. I can't remember how many days they had to be lit for. I think maybe it was 13 or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, they end up being lit for the amount of time that they're meant to be lit for. And Tommy says it's a miracle. Chucky asks what a miracle is. And Tommy explains to him that is when something good happens that you could think would never happen. And Phil and Lil go, "Yeah, it's a miracle." After the story, Slow-Mo explains to Boris that he always actually wanted children, but that he and his late wife were never able to have them. So the only thing he had to brag about was his big fancy business. Boris feels bad for him and says that he's sorry and that he didn't know. And the two soon become friends. The play then starts, and Stu's menorah invention thing is set off, and it goes and does its thing, and then the play starts. Snowman and Grandpa Boris are on stage together, singing and dancing, and the babies see that they are getting along. And Chucky says, look, your grandpa and the meaning of Hanukkah are getting along now and they are friends. The babies, Tommy says, yeah, it's a miracle. And the babies start cheering. The episode then ends with the Jewish Bible closing.